There's so much happening in the spatial computing industry right now, from the Vision Pro finally running VRchat to there possibly being an Apple Vision Air. And today we're going to be discussing all those things, so stay tuned. Before we start, right now you're watching a spatial experience, which means there are certain properties about this video that you just can't see unless you're watching in VR. For example, instead of watching me through a screen, I'm now in the world with you. You can reach out and touch my hand. You can give me a high five. Go ahead, give me a high five. It's almost like you're having a direct conversation with me face to face. Anyway, first up, the Apple Vision Air. The Apple Vision Pro blew us all away with its high-end specs and is definitely changing people's mind about spatial computing. I feel like it was only a year ago that we were seeing articles with titles like why VR is failing and why VR will never succeed. And now we're seeing like this mass sort of green light from journalists saying that this technology is in fact the future. There seems to be a common theme though amongst everybody discussing the topic, and it's that the Apple Vision Pro is too expensive, coming in at $3,500. What people are forgetting though is that in some of the original leaks about the Vision Pro lineup, Ming-Chi Kuo states that Apple's second generation AR/MR headset has two high-end and low-end models. The high-end and low-end will be produced by Foxconn respectively, and the current launch schedule for both of these models will likely be in 2025. So when the Apple Vision Pro 2 drops, which is speculated to be in 2025, we should be seeing a brand new Apple Vision Air that's supposed to fit the low-end market. However, what Apple considers low end at this point is questionable. I don't know. I just hope it's at least under $1,500. Next up, Apple Vision Pro actually running VRchat. ALVR developer Zhui Zhang, I hope I didn't butcher that, ported ALVR, the beloved Steam VR streaming application, over to the Vision Pro. This allowed a Twitter user by the name of Shiny Quagsire to run VRchat on the Vision Pro, which is something the community has been questioning if it could happen since the announcement. Well, it can happen. However, all ALVR is a streaming application, which means all the processing is still happening on a computer and not actually on the headset. Another downside is it's pretty clear you can still see his hands while he's playing, which is unfortunate. I hope this is something that can be disabled in Xcode somehow. And also you have to use external controllers. Hand tracking doesn't really work. However, I see no reason why it can't eventually work if hand tracking was added to the PC version of VRchat. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Unlike other people, I don't actually fully believe that we need controllers for VR. I think when it comes to VR gaming, yeah, we definitely need VR controllers, but when it comes to social applications like VRchat, they're not really that necessary. I've seen people with drift that looks like a compass to the South Pole, and instead of fixing their controllers, they just set them down and use hand tracking literally permanently. And it's not even like a struggle for them, it's just like normal. So yeah, I do really believe we can make do without a controller, but only specifically for social applications like I was saying. For gaming, I think we still need controller. But anyway, yeah, we finally got VRchat running on the Vision Pro. Speaking of streaming apps, Virtual Desktop is reported to be working on a Vision Pro port as well. However, it's not confirmed yet whether or not we'll be getting full immersive capabilities, meaning it might only stream the desktop instead of actual Steam VR. I feel like it will have full immersive support though, because if ALVR did it, I see no reason why Virtual Desktop can't. We still haven't seen apps like Steam Link get full immersion support yet either, but this is likely because it's still early and some of these companies don't even have their hands on an Apple Vision Pro yet. So of course some developers aren't building apps for it yet. I am happy all these companies are at least thinking about Vision Pro support though. Some good news is that the Vive Tracker Ultimates, a new set of inside-out camera-based trackers that caught heat from the VR community for its lack of support for Steam VR, recently got an open beta for the trackers to finally be used with Steam VR headsets. It consists of an awkward calibration technique where you move the tracker up, down, left, and right for a few minutes. Kinda reminds me of Space Calibrator. Yeah, it really doesn't sound like a great setup process, but the good news is it's actually good. When the trackers are all set up, they look pretty amazing, with some people even comparing it to the Vive 3.0 tracking. Although with some of the same limitations, like you can't occlude the trackers from light, so you can't put the trackers under a blanket, meaning all the VRchat FBT sleepers out there are out of luck, and you know who you are. I don't know, I had the Quest Pro controllers which have camera-based tracking, and I know this is a different product, but the tracking that I got on my Quest Pro controllers was absolutely abysmal. It had pretty frequent drifting, and sometimes the controllers would just straight up turn off by random in a fully lit room. If I did try using them in a low light situation, it just did not work, just at all. So I don't know how these Vive Tracker Ultimates will hold up in an actual stress test or an actual longevity test, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Lastly, some news about VRchat. Apparently their web login interface is getting a redesign, and it looks, well, better actually. The only thing that threw people off is the horse, but besides that, all the actual UI does look a lot better. Yeah, it is improved, and they say they're still working on it, so there probably is still changes to come. Can't wait to see what they do. Other news about VRchat is they're collaborating with Big Screen on a VRchat themed storage can. This is definitely one of the weirder things I've seen this week, but I guess it's pretty cool, although I do hope one day they collab on more than just a soda can, and maybe collab on a VRchat headset or something like that. All I know is I think it's great that these companies are building a good relationship with each other. But yeah, things are seriously taking off more than ever in the spatial computing industry right now. I don't know, I will say that Apple are the masters of press. How the fuck do you get people to glaze up a $4,000 headset when, and I'm sorry, a lot of the same technology has been on the market for years? I don't know, the Vision Pro is a very solid and thought through device, and maybe that's why it's getting all this hype, and not because it's just the brand. It reminds me of the Bluetooth earbuds era, where suddenly having Bluetooth headphones was the coolest thing in the world just because Apple made a pair. All I know is whatever they're doing, keep it coming. I'm not complaining. I don't know, I feel like we've been saying this for years, but it just feels like things are finally taking off. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching this video and staying here to the end. If you want to stay tapped into my community, my Discord will be over there, along with my group code. And joining the Realm F1 group is similar to subscribing to a YouTube channel. You'll get notifications on brand new spatial experiences to come out. I want to start doing spatial news for you guys weekly, or at least bi-weekly, switching my content over from VRchat social dynamics over to more tech-oriented style of content, because it's what I find fun right now to talk about. And I never want it to be a drag to make YouTube videos. So I'll always talk about what I feel I want to talk about. But yeah, I've sort of been shifting things around on the channel to hopefully deliver better content for you guys, and I hope you guys did enjoy this new style of video that I'm doing here. And if I made a mistake, or you have any issues, or if there's just things you just plain out want to elaborate on, go ahead and do that down in the comments. I'll make sure to give that a read. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.